Hey guys, my name is Eric and I'm part of our operations support team here at VictorOps.
And I'm Nate. I'm also part of the operations team here.
All right, and we are here today to go through just a quick demo of the primary features and functionality of the VictorOps platform. So I guess we'll go ahead and jump into a screen share and get going. We are still online. We have a little bit of technical difficulty here. Hopping into the screen share. All right, so this is the VictorOps main portal here. I'm going to go ahead and let you guys know that this same user experience you have here is available both on our Android and iOS clients. I'm going to go ahead and start out on the left side over here. These are going to be all of the members of our organization listed here. The people up at the top, these first 5 people all have an oak leaf next to their name, and that is to denote that they're currently on call. The team that they're currently on call for is listed in the orange. So we have Joni with DevOps, Ann with Database, Jason with Database, and Dan is on the Everyone team. Down below we have 3 individuals here who have green dots next to their name. They are not currently on call, but that is just to show that they are currently logged into the app and paying attention, if you will. That green dot will decay over about 4 hours until it kind of looks like the ones down here. We think this is especially important just because we wanted to build a collaborative platform, and as you well know, many of the things that come through, tickets or incidents and alerts that come through are things that are outside your technical acumen. So if you know that maybe John has a certain amount of expertise in database, then maybe Ann can reach out to him and pull him into the firefight and help work the issue to ground. You can click on anybody's name here and pull up their email address and their phone number. And if you are using the Android or iOS clients, you can actually just tap on that phone number and it'll start a call right away with them. Additionally, we all have things we do outside work. Our boss, Tom, spends a lot of time coaching his kids' hockey teams and baseball teams and stuff like that. So he'll reach out to Nate and I and just ask us if we can take on call for him. And we'll just reach back out and we can actually just click take on call. And what that effectively does is it effectively passes the pager at that point. We assume all responsibilities of being on call at that time. And then the onus is kind of on him to take on call back once he's available again. At this time, I'll go ahead and have Nate jump into the main timeline.
As you can see, the main timeline is very similar to a Twitter or something like that. You can scroll through and it will bring up all the different actions taking place within your organization. This includes alerts, pages, and any sort of chat messages that are entered in here. I'm now going to send in a quick alert using our Qbot integration. And just kind of walk through the workflow of what happens when an incident comes into the timeline. So first, as you see, it shows up here, it begins paging, and it tells you who it's beginning to page. Over here on the right side, you'll see that it's broken out into individual incidents. Clicking in on one of the incidents will bring up a timeline specific to just this incident. That way, when you're chatting and bringing in people to help you fight this specific issue, it's automatically going to append the incident number so that you know specifically what you're being called in to fight. Again, this is all going to show up in the main timeline for full transparency, but think of it as a separate chat room specific to this incident. So in the middle of a firefight, if you have hundreds of incidents outstanding, you can fight the fire from within. The other options over here on the right are to acknowledge and resolve. This incident is going to continue to go through the person's paging policy and the team's escalation policy until it is acknowledged that someone is working on it. The other option is to reroute. Reroute allows you to send the incident off to a different team so that let's say something comes into you, you don't know how to deal with it, it's better suited for the database team. This will start the escalation policy, and the paging policy is for the individuals on call for that team. Again, this is all going to show up within the incident timeline specific to this incident and in the main timeline for full transparency. Acknowledging the incident will cancel paging. It will also put it down into here, and you can see that it's act by VO admin so that you know who is responsible for that. Moving on now into the settings. You will see our scheduling options. Essentially what this allows you to do is any sort of recurring schedule is now available to you in here. Hold on, let me get rid of this real quick. So any sort of schedule you can think of, we will be able to handle, and then it will automatically switch off the pager from one person to the next based on the information you lay out here. Clicking in on one of these, you can take a closer look. This is the escalation policy. Essentially, the escalation policy allows you to take steps automatically on a time-based preferences. So the immediate step is to notify the on-duty user for the rotation fall of the sun. If no one acknowledges that, it's going to go on to the next step. So after 15 minutes, notify an individual user. The other options would be to notify the next or previous user in a rotation, execute the policy for a team, execute a webhook, or an email address. The webhook has significant enough information within the payload that you'd be able to take action on it even prior to paging someone if you choose. But generally, the webhook and the email are used for people outside of the system who would never necessarily log into VictorOps, but would want to know if something has not been taken care of after a certain amount of time. It should be noted that for all things administrative, whether it be escalation policies, rotations, integrations, or personal paging policies, which we'll get into next, the operations team, Eric and I, are always available to help you set that up on your behalf. We understand that all of our customers, literally every single one, is way too busy to be bothered to set things up if they're in the middle of a firefight. So just send us your requirements and we can help you with that.
It's also worth noting, just kind of going back to the take-on call we were talking about earlier, we also have what's called a scheduled override down at the bottom. So if you know that you have a piano recital for your kid or something like that coming up, you can actually just build this into the schedule ahead of time instead of doing it on the fly.
All right, so moving on real quickly to individual users' personal paging policies. Essentially, when you are being notified of an incident, we're going to take these specific steps that you outline in your own personal profile. As you see here, it's very similar to the escalation policy in that you can add as many steps as you'd like and have as many actions within each step as you'd like. What I have here is immediately send an email, and then after 15 minutes, send a push notification. Other options would be to send an SMS or a phone call. It is good to note that because of our native Android and iOS client, you do have the option with the push notification to adjust the sound, so it's differs from the rest of the notifications that come from your phone. And then the SMS comes with 2 3-digit codes so that in the event you are unable to log into the app for whatever reason, you can just respond back directly to the text message with one of those codes, and we will take the action of acknowledging or resolving that specific incident for you. On to integrations. As you see here on the right, this is a list of our integrations. We actually just updated this to add a few more here. If at any time you don't see something that you are looking for, always check the knowledge base first. We do have additional integrations in here that may not be showing up. For example, Zendesk is here, but not in the integrations page here. Briefly, I will touch on 2 of our more generic integration types. The Rest Endpoint. Essentially, this is just a webhook that you point at this endpoint here. What we do is we give you an API key specific to your account, and then you define the routing key so that it goes to the correct team. The routing key is defined at the bottom of the page here. So, for example, DevOps will go to the DevOps team. Similarly, but a little less customizable, is the email endpoint. As opposed to being able to define all of the different aspects of the JSON body, you're left with just the subject line and the email body. Again, we'll give you a API key specific to your account, and then a routing key, again, defined at the bottom of this page. What we do with the email endpoint is we parse the subject line of the email you send our way. This essentially allows us to take the bulk of the subject line and then whatever you append, whether it be critical, acknowledge, resolve, and use that as the entity so that we're able to track an incident from beginning to end. Again, as I mentioned during the escalation policies, if you have any questions at any time, never hesitate to reach out to support@VictorOps. That's what we're here for. And we are always more than happy to help you set up one of the integrations you see listed here. Or if you have a different system that is able to send out a webhook or email, we'd be happy to help you out there as well. Moving on to reports. I'll let Eric kind of talk about the high-level overview of the incident metrics and then go further into the incident frequency.
Yeah, these are going to be some high-level incident metrics here, reporting that we have. More general stuff. We have some more granular individual-based reporting that's going to be coming out in the near future. Just to hit lightly, this is our incident frequency report. This basically centers around all the different parts of your infrastructure that you have and all the alerts that they're generating. So basically, if you see an outlier on here and something is especially noisy versus what the other components are doing, then you obviously know that you need to go in and fine-tune some things or adjust how those are being reported in the first place by your monitoring solutions and adjust the thresholds for that. If you hover over the alert or over the specific component, it's going to show you the last alert that came in most recently. And so obviously these are sorted by the most noisy down all the way to the least noisy. Go ahead and jump back out and talk about our post-mortem reporting. This is probably our most commonly used report. Our customers seem to really like it. We're going to type in demo report here. We'll set it for today. Let's see what the last hour or so has shown us here. So basically this will show you everything that's come into that main timeline over the last hour. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of noise in something like this, so you can go ahead and you can remove things that aren't relevant to what you're trying to show here. You can then go ahead and add notes and say this is where things went poorly. And you can save that. It'll append that note into the report here. And then once you're done, you kind of have it cleaned up. You can save and view. You can print it. You can send it to a customer to maintain an SLA, or you can pass it around internally. We have a standing weekly postmortem every Wednesday, and we actually roll through this for our own organization and review things that went wrong over the week and how we can make them better in the future. I'm gonna go ahead and jump back out to the main timeline.
And real quick, I just want to touch on this just before we end the screen share here. As you see these annotations appended to the different alerts here, this is our newest feature, the ability to annotate alerts. And essentially what it allows you to do is, based on rules that you define, you are able to say, all right, if we see this specific service or host, automatically pull in the information I want to have on that alert anyways. So for example, in this situation, we're pulling a graph of disk usage and a note that someone added, and then a link back to our GitHub to see if there's been any changes specific to this event. This is currently a beta feature, so we're not going to go into it any further, but if you do have any questions or would like to see a further demo about how you could be bringing in information specific to your alert, just reach out to support@VictorOps, and we'd be happy to give you a one-on-one demo to kind of show you more.
Yeah, I want to do a couple other things here real quick. Just going to highlight, this is what we call maintenance mode. This is especially useful if you know you're going to be taking a server offline or something like that. The most important thing is that the main timeline here is still going to be ingesting all the information that comes in, but you will not be getting paged or alerted for it. You'll receive a simple alert that you've gone into maintenance mode, and then an alert when you come back out of maintenance mode, but all the paging policies will be put on hold during that time. Additionally, just to highlight a couple filtration things, we have obviously all incidents here my incidents and my team's incidents. And this is a demo account, so we don't have this fully set up, but that's a way to kind of reduce some noise here, in addition to filtration here, where you can remove on-call changes or different escalations and maybe just grind down to just the critical or warning alerts that are coming into the system.
All right, and that about wraps up our demo. So we're going to stop the screen share here. As we mentioned, if you do have any questions, please feel free to reach out to support@VictorOps, and we are always available there. We do this demo every Tuesday at 2 o'clock, so if you want to keep up and see what the new features are moving forward, stay tuned, and we will continue to be doing this.
Yeah. If you think that this would be beneficial for your organization or something like that, we can also book just a demo for your team if you need to. We can grind in a little more in depth to what you guys are doing and how our product might fit your needs. Right now, we also have a special going on for Black Friday. If you sign up or add users into your account, we will actually enter you into a raffle that we have going on for an Xbox One. So who doesn't like Xbox One, and who wouldn't want one for free in their office? Not me, that's for sure. I want an Xbox One.
All right, well, thank you for joining the demo, and if you do have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out.